Adilila Vishnu Shila Vaishnav Shababoma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Jagannath Chad Goswami's Prabhu ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Prem Shekha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Bashri Go Bhakta Vindagi Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Navadip Mayapur Dham ki Prachabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Purushatam Ketra Jagannath Puri Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Jamuna Mai ki Bhakti Devi ki Tulashi Maharani ki Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Shamabeta Gaud Bhakta Vrindaki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindaki Sri Sri Nityananda Trayodashi Mahamahachab ki Sri Sri Nityananda Ram ki Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gauda Shridhanath Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. हरे कृष्णा. सब लोग आसन ग्रहण कर सकते हैं. आज हमारा परम सौभाग्य है, आज हमारे बीच में है His Grace Atul Krishna Prabhu. So Atul Krishna Prabhu came in Krishna consciousness way back in 1980s. So more than 40 years he has been practicing Krishna consciousness. He is from Australia. So he joined ISKCON Melbourne Temple as a brahmachari there, and he was actively distributing Srila Prabhupada books, and he was doing wonderful preaching there in Melbourne. Later on he came to India, and then his spiritual master instructed him to go to Bangladesh, where he went and preached all over Bangladesh, and he learned Bengali language very fluently. Later on he came to Mayapur and settled in Mayapur, and he started developing ISKCON education services. As part of ISKCON education service, he was very instrumental in developing Mayapur Institute, which is known for doing many Shastric study courses like Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhaum. He was also he has trained actually hundreds and thousands of teachers. He also has been conducting teachers training courses, teachers training course 1, 2, 3, different courses. And he was also instrumental in developing many important courses like ISKCON Disciple course, which are conducted all over the world. So every year he comes to our Kolkata Rath Yatra and blesses us with his wonderful session. So we are also very fortunate on this occasion of Nityananda Trayodashi. He is there with us. So let us welcome His Grace Atul Krishna Prabhu by loudly chanting 3 times. Haribo! Haribo! Haribo!
There's a song by Srila Narottam Thakur Maharshai. So Nityananda Nishtha begins Nitai Pada Kamal. You can find that and sing along.
Krishna Paitanai Radha Krishna Paitanai Hananitai Binabhai Radha Krishna Paitanai Kori Koroni Tai Pai Shesham Handa Nahija Rita Janama Yelota Janma Gilota Krita Janma Gilo Shiposhu Poroduracha Boro Shashuke Majilo Shamshashuke Nitai na polilo mukhe Majilo Shamshashuke Kule ki kori beta Vidya kule ki kori beta Ahankara mata hoya Nitai pada pashariya Ahankara Ahankara mata hoya Nitai pada pashariya Nitai pada Satyera satta kori mani Asatyera satta kori mani Nitaye koruna hobe Roje Radha Krishna pabe Nitaye koruna hobe Radha Krishna Krishna pabe Nitai charana dhuikhane Nitai charana dhuikhane Nitaye charana sata Kahara shepo ganito Nitai pada shadda koro ahasha Nitai pada shadda koro ahasha Naratamam podo dukhi Nitai more koro shuki Shuki. Rako Rango Charanera Pash Rako Rango Charanera Pash Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Koti Chandra Shushitala Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Koti Chandra Jai Jaya Jagata Vandeyaham Sri Guru Sri Juda Parakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahavanam Raghunatam Vitam Tam Shajivam Sataitam Savadutam Parichana Shaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Chakana Validashi Bishakam Vidangscha Mantra Guru Ajota Shika Guru Ganta Charane Age Korea Bandam Manchakapatu Shnava Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shamadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Sasudi Devi Gauravani Vijaya Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shahadito Gaudodaye Pushpavanto Chitra Shando Tamonudo. Please chant.
Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Nityananda Sahadito Vande Pushpavanto Chitra Shando Tamonudo.
Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahadito
Matri Mandali.
Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Nityananda Sahadito
Nityananda Sahadito Gauradaye Pushpavanto
Chitro Shando Tamo Bande. I offer respectful obeisances Sri Krishna Chaitanya, to Lord Sri Chaitanya, Nityananda, and to Lord Nityananda, Shaha Udito, simultaneously arisen, Gauda Udaye, on the eastern horizon of Gauda, Pushpabanto, the sun and moon together, Chitro, wonderful, Shamodo, bestowing benediction, Tamahanudo, dissipating darkness. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. A translation responsively. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Gaududaye Pushpabanto. This evening, after Abhishek, we'll speak a little, isn't it? Yeah. So this evening we'll be discussing Gaududaye Pushpabanto, how he appeared in Ekachakradam, Nityananda Prabhu. We'll discuss that this evening. And this morning we're carrying on. We've been hearing, last few days, we've been hearing how Nityananda Agyadilo Jao Gauda Deshe Anargar Prema Bhakti Kodaho Prakashe. Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, after he had been there a few years, every year the devotees were coming from Bengal. That's why Mahaprabhu, we were hearing, that's why Mahaprabhu was living in Jagannath Puri, because of his accessibility to Gauda Desh. Tomra Shabbaro Gamon Agamon Gangashnane Ohoveta Ragamon. You can all come and go, and he also may return to Gauda Desh for bathing in Maganga, as Mahaprabhu did. So for this reason, Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri. Nityananda Prabhu accompanied Goshamdor on his journey to Jagannath Puri. He also wanted to accompany him in the South Indian tour. He was making his case. Prema Beshe, Pote, overwhelmed with love of God. Prema Pote to me, Hobe Ochetan, you will fall down, overwhelmed with love of Godhead on the path. Who will look after your kamandalu and your malar and your set of your cloth, extra one set of cloth? And I will accompany you. I know all the paths of South India. Mahaprabhu, he did not accept that proposition because he was upset with Nityananda Prabhu. We were discussing yesterday or the day before, Banga Danda Nodi. Nityananda Prabhu, first opportunity he got to touch the danda of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he broke that into 3 pieces. And Mahaprabhu was not very satisfied. For that reason, he entered Jagannath Puri alone. And he wanted to tour the holy places of South India alone so that he could properly perform the regulations of Shannash. And then upon returning, the devotees from Bengal came. They remained 4 months performing Rath Yatra with Goshandor. And Nityananda Prabhu, he remained in Jagannath Puri. He was there, he was remaining in Jagannath Puri. And then Mahaprabhu said, hey, this order he gave him, go to Deshe Jao, go to Bengal. You're very fortunate that you have taken birth in Gauda Desh. Prabhupada says this is the most important place in the universe. He says that, most important place. Not because, and not only you're the Sevaks in Prabhupada Janmastan. They're so fortunate you are. So Gauda Daye, Gauda Desh, Mahaprabhu is a special affinity for Gauda Desh. He said to the Korma Brahmin, Jari dekha tari kaha Krishna upadesh. Amara gai guru ha tara ei desh. You deliver everyone, you see, you tell them about Krishna. Tara Aidesh, you deliver everyone in this land. And he said that everywhere he went, actually. To all of the residents, all of the household Brahmins, Mahaprabhu gave this order, not just to Kurma Brahmin. So in this way, Mahaprabhu, everybody preaching, where you are, you preach. And in addition to that, he was concerned with Bengal. Particularly, so therefore he sent his most intimate, most priya, Priyatam, his first expansion, Swayam Prakash, Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam, Bhakta Avataram Bhakta Kyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam, Bhakta Rupam Swarupakam. He takes the form of a devotee and he expands. It's personal expansion. Swarup means personal expansion, non-different. But we were discussing this, that there's personalities. There's a little different in Nityananda Prabhu. We're hearing he has his associates, Dwadasha Gopagan, and they were traveling, having received this order from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to travel and preach and to deliver Onargal Prema Bhakti Kodaho Prakashe. So I like to come to Doyal Nitai Gauranga Mandir, because how happy he is seeing the development of preaching in Gaudadesh. Practically speaking, Shuri Brinda, we neglected Kolkata for the first few decades of our development in Gaurmandal Bhumi. In Kolkata, when Prabhupada came, Prabhupada first temple, Radha Govinda Mandir, and then we're busy, Mayapur development, but actually the organization, and Mayapur means world delivery. World, the whole world. Now world leaders are all gathering in Mayapur, actually, the Nityananda Trayodashi in Mayapur, all ISKCON world leaders, delivering the world. Strategy, planning, associating, inspiring, delivering the world as a Mayapur. But delivering Bengal, that actually has to be strategically organized from this mandir. That's why Nityananda Prabhu has appeared here. That's why I'm attracted to come. Because I know. This mandir, now we're serious. So let us establish Prabhupada, particularly Kolkata. And we deliver Kolkata, then all Bengal will follow, no doubt. Pashchim Bengal and Purva Bengal bhumio. নিশ্চয় ওখান থেকে সবাই আসেন কলকাতা তাই নাকি পূর্ববঙ্গল ভূমিতে সবাই আসেন কলকাতা প্রথম স্থান this is so important. Our preaching in Kolkata is so important. How Prabhupada is blessing you, seeing the development. Every time I come, look, there's construction here broken, there's big earth movers, everything going on. It's so exciting. Because you have Doyal Nitai, you have, it's all for his mercy. And he desires. So much, he's in the mood of preaching. And we were hearing in his preaching yesterday at Adi Shaptagram that the Murka, Odom, Potit, particularly he is kind to them. So we all have a chance. He's particularly kind to the fallen, the idiots, the fools. So we have a chance. Nitaye koruna hobe, Braja Radha Krishna pabe. And that which is not possible. Braja Radha Krishna pabe. Nitai koruna hobe. You will say, Hano nitai bine bhai, Radha Krishna pai tenai. Without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, it's not possible. It's not possible. So how important is this day? And we're observing, and so many devotees have come. So Nityananda Prabhu, he gathered his 12 associates, and he was many associates. So the 12 Pradhan, Bhakta Vrinda, they were there accompanying Nityananda Prabhu. We're hearing, and he traveled first to Panihati, and he remained in Panihati for 3 months. And Vrindavan Das Thakur explains that the pastimes that Nitai Goshai performed in half an hour will take even 100 years you could not describe. He was so active in his dissemination of Krishna consciousness for prema because Mahaprabhu ordered. We were discussing the relationship between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. They have a relationship. It should be understood. Chaitanya Goshai jare bole borobai teho kore mo Prabhu Chaitanya Goshai. Chaitanya Gosai tare bole boro bhai. Mahaprabhu, he considers Nityananda Prabhu boro bhai, my elder brother. Teho kore mo Prabhu Chaitanya Gosai. And Nityananda Prabhu, teho kore, he says, more Prabhu Chaitanya Gosai. My master is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the mood of Nityananda Prabhu. He is totally absorbed in the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and fulfilling his order. In the kirtan, when Mahaprabhu was swooning in love of God, in Nitai Gosai, Avadut, Shiromani, he would be there and he would catch Mahaprabhu. He would hold Mahaprabhu in the Shiva Shangan, in the kirtan, when Mahaprabhu was overwhelmed. Love of God, it is constantly together. They are constantly together. We're worshipping together as they're distributing love of Godhead. And they're dancing. They're dancing, ecstatic dancing. Ecstatic dancing. Because the kirtan is going on, Nitya Kirtan. And this morning we're dancing in the kirtan, Nityananda Prabhu also dancing. What a Kebal Ananda Kanda. Kebal Ananda Kanda. Param Kuruna. Bahutu Ichon. Nitai Gauchandra. Kebal Ananda Kanda. Chanting, dancing, take prasadam. So in this way, Nityananda Prabhu was traveling from Puri and traveling back to Gaurish Panihati, and then from Panihati, Adi Shaptagram, and delivering the merchants, the gold merchants there, and Udarandhata Thakur, delivering. Prabhupada mentions that he was his ancestor, Udarandhata Thakur from Saptagram. It's another very important place. And Nitya Charan, that is we blessed by Nityananda Prabhu, lotus seat, Saptagram. And he's preaching there. And carrying on, he went from Saptagram. Yesterday we discussed he came to Shantipur. And when he met with Advaita Gosai, they were embraced. They were rolling in the courtyard, embracing, and they couldn't be separated, trying to catch hold of each other's lotus feet. And this way, manifesting the ecstasy, the relationship and ecstasy of love of Godhead they were enjoying together. And then Nityananda Prabhu, he desired to go to Navadip, to see Shachi Devi and all the devotees in Navadip. Nityananda Sharupe Deki Shachi Ai, Ki Ananda Pailen Tar Anantanai. Seeing Sachi Devi, Ki Ananda Pailen, how much bliss, how much happiness he enjoyed. Tar Antanai, there's no end to that happiness. And Sachi Devi, it's like a child, like a son, just like a son, Nityananda Prabhu. And like doing like two boys, two sons, Nitai go Nitai, like two sons. Shachinandan Mahaprabhu, he's in Puri. So Shachi Devi, she's always in Biraha Babe, where go to Birahe. Where is Mahaprabhu? She's always in. Actually, it describes Sachi. She became like Majasoda. She became like Majasoda, wandering around. Have you seen Krishna and Balaram? Like that. She became mad, simply constantly absorbed in the separation from Gaunitai. So Nityananda Prabhu came. Sachi Devi was so happy, and she said, "You remain here, please stay, so I can see every 10 days. I want to see you. You remain in Navadip." And Nityananda Prabhu said, "Yeah, I've come here. I've come to Navadip to see you." Mor boro ichha tomar dekite hetai rahillan Navadipe tomar agyai. So I will stay in Navadip. My desire is to see you. So tomar, you are ordering me. I will remain in Navadip. So Nityananda Prabhu, he began preaching in Navadip. He was preaching in Navadip Dham. Would you like to hear a little bit about Nityananda Prabhu's preaching in Navadip? Navadipe Nityananda Prati Ghore Ghore Shab Porishad Shange Kirtan Bihare. Shab Porishad Shange, along with his associates who accompanied him. What a Sankirtan party. Actually, I reflect on many different things we've done by Prabhupada's mercy, the service in this mission. Many different things. I even was a cook sometime. Yeah. Can you believe that? Yeah. For the deities, Radha, Prabhupada's installed deities, Radha, Bala, Gonita, and Melbourne. I was a cook. Many things we've done, a little bit of administration and this, but also different things, village preaching. But the most ecstatic was traveling with a team the village preaching Bangladesh with the team, same team, you're traveling, relationships. When I see those devotees, they're all leaders in the Bangladesh now, those devotees who are on that party. Jagadguru Gauranga and Navadip Maharaj, Charachandra Prabhu, they're from that time where we were there. One temple we had in Dhaka. But they're so ecstatic. The ecstasy, Nityananda, he's enjoying. Parishad Ganshange, Prati Gore Gore, Kirtan Birahe. Performing kirtan and preaching. This is the way to develop relationship, actually, with Vaishnavas. We preach together. Then everything, ahankara is all gone, and the ecstasy of preaching, to develop deep relationships. Imagine the Kamarade, Nityananda Prabhu and his parishad, as they were preaching Kamarade, the fellowship. So we were hearing in their Panihati preaching how they were dressed like cowherd boys with bugles and horns and kunjamala, just like cowherd boys. That was their attire during the preaching. So similarly, for going out for preaching, Nityananda Prabhu, he dressed very opulently to go for preaching. Nityananda Prabhu. Actually, one time we were coming in the elevator down that building, and in near the Albert Road, Radha Govinda Mandir, Bhakti Churu Maharaj was there. We were going to Radhayatra Pandal, and I was dressed like this. Actually, I was in this kurta, and Bhakti Churu Maharaj looked and he said, "You look very nice. You look very nice today." He said, "You always look good. You always dress well, but today especially." And then he said that actually Prabhupada wanted for the preachers to look very first class when they're preaching, very first class, not shabby and dirty old cloth, and then look very first class, clean, new, fresh cloth, opulent, silks. Prabhupada wanted that for preaching. Even Prabhupada also requested for, and he was staying in the ashram of his godbrother Bhakti Shranga Maharaj in Delhi, and Prabhupada had nothing. And he was editing the Sajjana Toshani, and he was going and meeting big men, and Prabhupada said, "I need a dhoti." And he couldn't even hold. So this Nityananda Prabhu, he dressed so beautifully with so many colored silk cloths around his head and glittering necklaces of gold with pearls and many studded gems and beautiful earrings which dangled, set with shiny white pearls. He had armlets and bracelets on his leg, on his ankles, and on his arms. He was exquisitely decorated with different designs of sandalwood designs on his chest, on his forehead. He had a cane, a flute, a horn in his belt. A cane, a flute, and a horn. A flute. Nityananda Prabhu also plays the flute. As he was strolling, he looked like a royal elephant. And then with every step, his silver ankle bells, they jangled. Henomate Nityananda Param Kotuke Achin Chaitanya Janma Bhumi Navadipe. In this way, in Chaitanya Bhumi Navadipe, he was doing his preaching. So many people in Navadip at that time. We know that everything was covered. Some 200-300 years after Mahaprabhu's appearance, everything was covered in Navadip. Mahaganga, she moved, everything was covered. And all of the places were hidden. And then later, Ganga again receded, and Thakur Bhaktivinoda, he began to re-establish the holy places, and people again came Navadip. And now Navadip is developing so much because of ISKCON. I remember in the early days we were there. I've been in Mayapur 25 years. I went there in 2000, to this year, 25 years. We used to go to, there was only one little shop. One little shop on the boundary wall, one little shop. Everything you had to go to Navadip to get. And there's a little boat, 20, 30 people on the boat. One little shop. Now there's big supermarkets in Navadip. AC, 3-4 story. In Mayapur. And the boat going to Navadip and coming there's hundreds and hundreds of people on every boat, 300-400 people on every boat, constantly coming and going. Huge. This is growing so much in my own eyes. I've seen Mayapur Navadip is growing so much since ISKCON. our development. I mean, and particularly after establishment of the TOVP. After that, we began, then so many devotees came, Mayapur, and the community developed so big, and all that, Gornya, Nagar, all of that developed after that. There was nothing there in the early years. It was only inside the campus. There was nothing outside, no one living outside. In Mahaprabhu's time, Navadip was even more glorious. Navadip Shampati Ke Bone Bade Pade Ek Ganga Ghate Lok Lok Shnan Kore. Who can describe the opulence? Navadip Shampati Ke Bone Bade Pade. Who can describe the opulence of Navadip Dham? Ek Ganga Ghate. In one ghat, Lok Lok Shnan Kore. 100,000 people bathing in one ghat. You'll see Gopanima time if you go, you take bath in Maganga at Mayapur, Gopanima, 1,000 ancestors. Sahasra Purushagon Shange Goloka Prapti Hoy Jota Tota More. You bathe in Maganga on Gopanima day, then you take with you 100 ancestors to Goloka. Wherever you leave your body, it doesn't matter what circumstances you depart this world. You'll take 100. You go to Goloka and you'll take 100 ancestors with you. If you bathe in Ganga at Mayapur and Gopanima, Nityananda Prabhu himself has said that to Jiva Goswami. So, and in Mayapur, in Navadip, at that time when Nityananda Prabhu was there preaching, there was so many. It was a big city, and there was all different classes of people. There were very pious people. There were also wretched sinners. Shunu Shunu Nityananda Prabhu Akhyan Chor Doshu Jay Mote Korila Poditran. Oh, listen, brothers. Shunu Shunu Nityananda Prabhu, the descriptions of how the Chor Dashu, the dacoits, Chor Dashu, Jay Mote Korila Poditran were delivered by Nityananda Prabhu. Would you like to hear a little? Navadipe Boshe Ek Brahman Kumar Tahar Shaman Chor Dashu Nahi Ar. There's one Brahman, he was the king of the dacoits. There was no one equal to him in dacoitism. He was a leader. He was brutally malicious. He was always in the company of rogues. So when that dacoit saw Nityananda Prabhu with his dress, we were discussing, he had gold fingers, 10 on every finger, 10 rings, and the jewels, the gold, the earrings, the bedecked with the silver, the pearls, the gems, the rubies, the emeralds. He saw that. He became desirous of enjoying Nityananda Prabhu's alankar and jewelry. So Nityananda Prabhu, he was aware, this person, this Brahman Kumar, he actually disguised himself as a follower of Lord Nityananda, and he joined in the Sankirtan party of Lord Nityananda as they were going from house to house in Navadip preaching. And then Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he took his residence in the home of one Brahman, Hiranya Pandit. Is his house in Navadip. Not exactly sure where that is, but perhaps it's written somewhere, perhaps knows where this place actually is in Navadip, but we should find this place. Hiranya Pandit, Namek Shu Brahman, Shay Navadipe, Borshe Maha Akinchan. He was a greatly qualified person, Maha Akinchan. He had nothing in this world except devotional service to Gaunitai. So the dacoit leader, he knew that Nityananda Prabhu was staying in the house of Hiranya Pandit. That was a secluded place. And the dacoits were thinking, yeah, it's very good. We can plunder this house. We're from the Abadut, we can steal all of the jewels, rubies, emeralds, gold. And in this way, Arbai Shab Arkeno Dukapai, he's the dacoit leader. He's explaining to his associates, Are Bhai, Shabe Arkeno Dukapai, Chandi Maye Nidhi, Milale Ektai. By the mercy of Chandi Devi, she has provided all the treasure in one place. E Abudu Ter Angete Alankar, Shona Mukta Hira Kashi, Bai Nahya, Shona Mukta Hira Kashi. the gold, the pearls, the diamonds, the gems, the ornaments decorating the body of this abdut. Koto lakh takar padarta nahi jani. I don't know how much the value is. Koto lakh. Just his decorations, his dress was worth lakhs and lakhs of rupees. And that's 500 years ago. How much would that be today? Koti. Crores and crores. Just what he's wearing. We just get his dress. So gather your swords and shields. We'll raid the house this evening, loot everything. And in this way, the dacoits, they all gathered. They were eagerly awaiting for night to fall. They sent a spy. They gathered out there. They went in and they a little distance from Hiranya Pandit's house, and then they sent a spy inside, for the reconnaissance. Reconnaissance, that's what it's called. They sent a spy inside there. So the spy came back and gave a report. Like to hear what he saw? Nityananda Prabhu Koren Bhojan Chaturdike Harinam Lai Bhaktagan. He's eating his meal, and then all around him, the devotees are performing Harinam. Some were roaring jubilantly, some were crying loudly in insatiable joy, and others clapped their hands and laughed. The kirtan was going on whilst Nityananda Prabhu was taking prasadam. Others called out, Hi, Kore Konakonjon, Krishnananda, Nidra Nahi Shavai Cheton. Krishnananda, Nidra Nahi, that no one slept. No one slept. There was so much ananda in Nityananda Prabhu's association as he was performing his activities. So he explained that the abdut is eating and the others are wide awake and jubilant. So the dacoits, they plan, okay, let them eat and then they will sleep. And then when they're sleeping, then we can attack the house. So let us just relax here. We'll wait a little while for them to finish their celebrations. And then they'll have eaten so much and they'll be in deep sleep. So let's just wait. And so they're waiting under the tree. Just waiting. They made themselves comfortable. And then they began to discuss who's going to get what. I want the pearl necklace, one said. Another said, the earrings are for me. They'd all seen the beautiful form of Lord Nityananda. And see how Vrindavan Das Thakur heard the poetry? The poetry that we're hearing the beauty of Lord Nityananda through the lips of the desirous thieves. They're describing his beauty. Isn't that sweet? Another said, I want the gold chains and necklaces. Another said, leave the silver ankle bells for me. And in this way, they're discussing and daydreaming about how rich they're going to become. By Lord Nityananda's desire, they were overcome with a heavy sleep. Slumber overcame them. The dacoit gang. And there under the tree, they all fell into deep sleep. In fact, the sleep was so deep, Vrindavan Das Thakur says that Sheikh Khane Gumailo Shabai Dashigan Nidrai Holo Shabai Maha Acheton. They were unconscious. The sleep was so deep they were unconscious. Completely unconscious. So in the morning the crows harsh calling. There were crows in Navadip 500 years ago. They're not a new thing. They're not newcomers. The crows. So then they woke up and they're looking at each other. Frustrated. They decided to go and take bath in the Ganga. This is the exalted nature of Navadip. Even the dacoits bathe in Ma Ganga every day. So they went as they were going to bathe in Ma Ganga, they began to chastise each other that, you were the first to fall asleep. And the others say, oh, so you stayed awake all night? And then in this way they were blaming each other for the mishap. And then the elderly dacoit, the leader of the Brahman Kumar dacoit, he said, look, I know what's happened. Why argue with each other in this way? This has happened because of Goddess Chandi's desire that we did not properly worship Chandi Devi before this effort. So for this reason, everything Sharvanash. ভালো করে আজ সবাই মাদ্য মাংস দিয়ে চলো সবাই একটাই Chandi puja গিয়ে. Come on, let's do big Chandi puja with meat and wine, and in this way we will satisfy Chandi Devi, and in this way our efforts will be successful. So they collected all the required ingredients and they had a big worship with meat and wine of Goddess Chandi that night. And the next day they're all getting ready, sharpening their swords and cleaning their weapons, oiling their weapons. They got dressed in dark blue, like disguise at night time so they couldn't be seen. Then they're hiding near the house of Hiranya Pandit. Then they saw that circumambulating the house of Hiranya Pandit were many sentries and guards. They were giant-sized men. Giant-sized men, 8-9 feet tall. Giant-sized men. Obviously, that's very astonishing to see in Bengal. And probably 3 times bigger than the usual. Yes, it's giant. They're carrying weapons, different weapons, and they walking around guarding the house. Shabai golai mala sharbangi chandan nirabadi korite che nam sankirtan. They had garlands around their. Imagine they're seeing sentries like this, security garlands and chandan anointing their bodies. And they're all doing Sankirtan, Nam Sankirtan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, as they're doing their security work. Nityananda Prabhu Achen Shayon Chaturdike Krishna Gai Shai Shab Gane. Nityananda Prabhu lying down, resting in a peaceful shayan, and protected 4 directions by these huge, powerful sentries. They're all chanting the holy name. The dacoits, when they saw that, what? And they were thinking that even one of these sentries, there's many of them, and even one of them could destroy all of us. Where did these sentries come from? They're discussing, where did these guys come from? The Abudut, he must have known our plan, and he bought these sentries. Yeah. Kehu bole bhai, Abudut boro gyani. He's like a mystic, he's like a seer. We hear he's a mystic, he's a seer, so he must have seen our plans, and therefore he's maje onek lok muke shuni aishwa maje onek lok shuni. I hear that he's a borogyani, he's a seer. So how can we make a plan? He must know all of our plans. He's intelligent. He arranges his own protection. Otherwise, where did these soldiers who are not like human beings come from? And one said, yes, people call him Goshai because he's very influential and very mystical. And another said, Goshai, what kind of Goshai eats so luxuriously? How can he be called Goshai? And dresses like a king. What sort of Goshai hangs out like that? Cruises like that? And then the young dacoit, he said that he was intelligent. He said that I think that what we got here is that, many important people have come to the house of Hiranya Pandit to associate with Nityananda, the Abudut. Many important people have come, and therefore they bought their personal security detail. So they'll be hanging around for a while these important men are here. After some time, these important leaders, they will leave, and then we'll be able to, without obstruction, plunder the house and steal all of the jewelry of Lord Nityananda. Maybe after 10 days, they'll be gone. So let's go back to our houses, and we'll reconvene this in a couple of weeks, and that way we'll be successful. Nityananda Charan, Bhajai Jai Jane, Sharva Bigna Kande Tahar Shabai Shmarane. Just by remembering Nityananda Charan, Bhajai Jai Jane, those who worship the lotus feet of Nityananda, Jai Jane, Nityananda Charan Bhajai, those who worship, Sarva Bigna Kanda Tahar Shabare Shmarane. By remembering those who are worshipping the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, by remembering them, just by remembering them, all obstacles in life are destroyed. Nitaye charana sata tahara sheboka nita. Just by remembering the servants of Lord Nityananda, all obstacles in life are removed. So who can create obstacles? Who can possibly create obstacles in the Leela of Lord Nityananda? If just by remembering those who worship him, all obstacles are removed. Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who can create obstacles for Nityananda Prabhu in his pastime Leela, his Leela, Ananda Leela enjoying? Who can create obstacles in that? Envious people always try to create obstacles in the endeavors of saintly persons. Envious people always try to create obstacles in the endeavors of saintly persons. But no envious person will ever be able to create obstacles in the activities of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. If a person remembers topics of even Sri Nityananda Prabhu's servants, the actions, he cannot... just by one is completely purified just by remembering that Lord Nityananda's servants. And in this way, Nityananda Prabhu's Leela in Navadev Sharva Navadeep Kore Shachande Kirtan Shachande Koren Krida Bhojan Shayan. This is his unrestricted enjoyment. How's he enjoying? Swachande Kirtan. Swachande Kirtan. This is a kirtan of his own name. And Krida Bhojan Shayan, taking prasadam, enjoying taking prasadam and resting with the devotees. Who can disturb these pastimes of Lord Nityananda? So the dacoits, they made another attempt, another night after a couple of weeks. Again, they went back, and it was a dark night that night. Dark. So they're thinking that, yes, everything's auspicious for this plan to lay siege on the house of Aranda Pandit. And then the night, as they were preparing, the guards went there at that time. They were preparing. Then the black clouds, dark black clouds, quickly appeared in the sky. And the earth was plunged into darkness. Each of the dacoits was carrying 5 or 10 weapons. And as they were approaching the house, suddenly they were struck with blindness. Already it was dark. It was a dark night, and there was a big black clouds and dark, and then they all became blind. And stumbling with they're stumbling in the darkness, in the night, in the field, stumbling, groping in the dark. Then they're falling over. They're being struck by their own weapons. Some of them fell into the moat surrounding the house. Moat, I mean, there's like a puku river which is surrounding the house. Like some of them fell into the moat. and they were attacked by leeches, insects, and giant mosquitoes. Others, they staggering in the dark, they fell into the pit where all the refuse garbage was discarded. They fell in that pit, all the old food, and they were being bitten by scorpions. And then there were others that ran into the bushes of thorns, and they were being bruised and pierced by the thorn bush, and they were stuck there, and they couldn't try to move to get out because they would get more pierced. So they were just stuck there in the darkness, blind and being in suffering, in extreme suffering. Then Lord Indra, who was aware of this aparad, these people who were trying to aparad and attack Lord Nityananda, Lord Indra was very angry with this, so he sent a heavy storm, a heavy rain pelting down with large pieces of hail. Hail, yes? Hail, frozen little hail, it's sometimes hail, frozen, bang, and big blocks of hail, and they're stuck in the bush, they can't move, and then the rain is pouring, and big hail, the extreme suffering, excruciating pain and misery, as they were, some in the river and being bitten by the leeches and then the hail, and others in the refuse, the garbage pit, and being bitten by scorpions, and then the pouring rain and the hail, and then others in the bush. The lightning bolt struck, and some of the dacoits lost consciousness out of fear, and then they became completely soaked and freezing cold. They're shivering and experiencing severe punishment. So in this situation, in this condition, then the leader of the dacoits, he began to think. He was like, realizations. He got some realizations. This Abhadut, the Nityananda, is not a mortal being. Just look at our efforts. First he put us in a deep slumber by his illusory potency, and then next time we tried, he had the superhuman centuries. And but still we couldn't recognize how extraordinary and powerful he is. And so we tried again, and then this night, which is appropriate for such sinful persons, he has again prevented us from making this attack. So he must be, how is it that this extraordinary, and we're suffering so extremely, such extremes of weather and the circumstances, this is not ordinary. Brothers, we have to understand. Eta bhabi dvija Nityananda charan chintaya ekanta bhabe loyalo sharan. This dacoit in ekanta bhave, it's like pure ekanta bhave. Loyalo sharan chintaya, in his mind, he surrendered to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. In his mind, that Brahman. Shai chodane chintile apada nahi ar shai kone koti aparadiro nishthar. Just by meditating on the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, koti aparad nishthar, thousands, hundreds of thousands of offenses are destroyed just by remembering the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Just by thinking of shai chodane chintile, just by thinking of the lotus feet of, meditating on the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Tumi shei jiber khama sharva aparad poti jon ero tumi karaho prasad. You can deliver the conditioned souls from their offenses, and the fallen, you give them your mercy. He's praying in this way to Lord Nityananda. I have killed Brahmins and cows. I have killed Brahmins and cows. That's how the degraded this dacoit was. But Sharva Mahapatikyo Tomar Sharan Loyle Khandaye Tar Shangshar Bandhan. Even the Mahapatiki, the greatest sinful person, the most sinful person, if he takes shelter of your lotus feet, he can become freed from bondage. So he begins calling out, save me today from this predicament. My only desire is that birth after birth you be my Lord and Master. So Lord Nityananda, he understood. Kripamoy Nityananda Chandra Avatar Shuni Korilen Dashu Goner Uddhar. He decided to deliver this dacoit, hearing his heartfelt prayers. So then the dacoits that are in this predicament again, they got their vision back. Lord Nityananda again bestowed their vision. And the storm dissipated. This is all because of the consciousness and prayers of that dacoit leader. That Nityananda Prabhu reciprocated just with his prayers and his consciousness. And the storm dissipated, and they were able to get themselves together. And then they all went off again to take bath in Marganga. Marganga ki. Yeah. But the leader of the dacoits, he wanted to go inside and see Lord Nityananda. So he went inside, he threw himself at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Boshi Achen Nityananda Vishwanath Poti Joner Kori Shubha Drishtipat. Sitting, Nityananda Prabhu, the Lord of the universe, he was casting his merciful glance upon all living entities. Chaturdike Bhaktagon kore Hari Dhoni Anande Hunka kore Abadut Moni. Roaring in ecstasy, the devotees in four directions surrounding Lord Nityananda were chanting the name of Hari. And this is the scene that the dacoit leader entered into. He threw himself at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, crying, save me, save me. His body quivered and his hair was standing on end. Tears were flowing like streams pouring from his eyes, and he roared like a lion, unable to restrain his emotions. Such was the spiritual influence of Lord Nityananda that Brahman, he jumped up and began to dance, suddenly began dancing and raising his hands and chuckling in great happiness. Singing, "O Lord Nityananda, you are my only master." Deki, Hoilin, Shabai Parama Bishmita, Emoto, Dashuro, Keno Emoto Charita. This is the amazing character of Lord Nityananda, that everyone was completely amazed seeing the behavior of this dacoit. Such extreme change in behavior, dancing in kirtan and fully surrendering himself to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. They were amazed. Everyone was amazed. Others thought, no, it's just a trick. It's just a trick. He's just waiting for a chance to plunder the riches. Kehu bole Nityananda potit pabon kripaya iha ba hoilo bhalomon. No. Others said, Nityananda, he's the savior of the most abominable. By his mercy, this reprobate, this dacoit, has been transformed. Seeing him dancing and raising his arms and chanting the holy name of Lord Nityananda, he was astonished. He said, Brahman, we've noticed some wonderful expressions in you. What has prompted you to act in this manner? Tell us everything without hesitation. So then he began to explain how actually with unrestricted tears rolling on the ground, crying, sometimes he's laughing. And then again jumping up, dancing and singing, and began to speak, "Oh Lord, I am a Navadip Bhashi in name only. My behavior is like that of a hunter or a dog eater. I've spent my whole life in the company of thieves and dacoits. I know only violence, hate and murder. There is not a sin that I have not committed. দেখিয়া তোমার অঙ্গে দিব্য অলঙ্কার তাহা হারিবারে চিত্ত হইল আমার। Dekhi seeing tomar ange dibba alanka, seeing the divine jewelry and ornaments on your body. Taha, these haribare, to steal them. Chitta hoilo ama, a desire arose in my heart to steal and enjoy all of those ornaments on your body. And the first night that we tried, I came with my assistants, my team of dacoits, and this happens in rural Bharat, rural Bengal. I don't know if it still happens, but I know that when I was in Bangladesh preaching, we had to be very careful in the remote places. A big gang of men, 20 in Mayapur, couple of times, 100 or 120 dacoits attacked Mayapur, 120. But in a big gang, and then they're very fearful, and they're homemade weapons, guns, bombs, knives, swords. They're very ferocious and very scary, very. So a big gang, and he's explaining to Lord Nityananda that we tried the first night, and you put us all into deep slumber, but still we could not understand who we were dealing with. So then we went and properly worshipped Goddess Chandi. And with well-oiled and sharpened swords, again we came, and we saw these stout guards. We'd never seen such characters before, marching about, chanting, with long garlands reaching their knees. But still, even seeing such a phenomena, we could not recognize your divine status. And our third attempt last night, we came, and immediately we lost our vision. And some of us fell into the ditches and others into the thorny bushes. And then the storm, the hail, the rain mercilessly tortured us. And after we'd gone through such hellish punishment and pain, then gradually we became enlightened. Tomar kripai shabai tomar charan korilun ekantababe shabai shmaran. We were remembering your lotus feet with great ekanta bhave, with great attention. And in this way, simply by thinking of you, we were delivered from our severe punishment and extreme punishment and the severe predicament. We were delivered just by thinking of you, just by remembering your lotus feet. Jaha shmarane khande avidya bandhan anayashe chali jai vaikunta bhuvan. Jahash, by remembering you, khande avidya bandha, one is freed from all ignorance and bondage. Anayashe, and very quickly chale jai vaikunta bhuvan, and one attains the spiritual world, vaikunta bhuvan, just by remembering you. And then again, the Brahmin begins to dance and cry, raising his hands. Such are the super excellent pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu. So the dacoit, he explained everything in the assembly of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is there, and all the devotees are there, his associates, and they're all listening to this presentation of the dacoit. Shunya shabai hoilo. Maha Ashcharya again. They're astounded hearing this description of the dacoit. Brahmane prati shabai koren pranam. And they all offered obeisances. They all offered their obeisances to this Brahman. Prabhu bole, Nityananda Prabhu said, Dvija, tumi, Bhagya Banta Boro, you are extremely fortunate. You are the most fortunate. Janama Krishna Shebak Tumi Dadha. You are Krishna's servant, birth after birth. Otherwise, how would he bestow such mercy upon you? So listen carefully. Nityananda Prabhu instructed that Brahman that you give up these ghastly sinful activities. If you give up your ghastly sinful activities, I am willing to take responsibility for all of your previous misdeeds. As long as you continue, as long as you agree to abandon your aggression, your violence, your looting and murder, I will free you from all of these reactions to these unlimited sinful activities you have performed. Dharma pote giya tumi lao harinam. Dharma pote giya tumi lao harinam. Tobe tumi onne korebe Paritran. You take to the path of spirituality. Dharma pote tumi lao harinam, and you chant the holy name. Tobe, then after some time, tumi on near koribe paritran, you will also be able to deliver others. Isn't this amazing? Isn't this amazing? That Nityananda Prabhu is empowering him immediately to become a preacher. So how much trust Nityananda Prabhu is bestowing upon this character who had murdered Brahmins and killed cows, and there wasn't a sin he hadn't committed. And Nityananda Prabhu is saying, you chant the holy name, and then you can become a preacher, and then you can deliver others. Dinahina jota chilo, hariname udharilo. Dinahina jota chilo. As extremely fallen as you can possibly be. Dinahina jota chilo, hariname udharilo. The holy name will deliver you. And Lord Nityananda Prabhu has come to spread this holy name to all the potit odom dushta. So go and meet other dacoits, Nityananda Prabhu is instructing him. Go and meet other dacoits and murderers and bring them to the path of pure religious living. Nityananda Prabhu then took the garland from his neck and he placed it on that Brahman's head. Maha joy joy dhoni hoilo tokon. Dvijay hoilo shara bonder vimochon. Joy, joy. All of the devotees sang joy, 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 joy. Lord Nityananda placed his garland on the neck. And in this way, Dvijay hoilo shara bonder vimochon. He became purified of all contamination, all material bondage. He was immediately relieved of, delivered. Nityananda Prabhur Karuna Shagor Pada Padda Diye Tar Mastak Upor. The Karuna Shagor, the ocean of mercy. Nityananda Prabhu, ocean of mercy, ocean of mercy. When you go to Puri, you'll see ocean. You don't get to see that many oceans. Puri is an ocean. In Australia, the ocean. It's surrounded by ocean, huge ocean, miles and miles. Ocean. We were there. The place is called Gold Coast. Maybe you've heard. We have our temple there, New Govardhan, and it's all apart. Huge high-rise like these. You see all along the beach, all miles. The Gold Coast. But that beach is so huge. That ocean is that beach. The sandy beach is so wide that still there's hardly ever a crowd on the beach. It's amazing. It's the most beautiful beaches. And the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. So Karuna Shagor, just imagine an ocean of mercy. Just try to imagine an ocean. Karuna Shagor, an ocean of mercy. There's no limit, and there's plenty for you. There's plenty for you. It will not run out. Nita Karuna, it will not run out. He is ready. There's an ocean of mercy to give it. Nityananda Prabhu, Karuna Shagor, Pada Padde Dilo Tar Mostak Upar, and he placed his lotus feet on the head of that dacoit. Charanar Abindapai, Mashtake Prashad, Brahmanir Kandile Shakal Aparadi, was by the touch of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet on the head of that Brahman. All the offenses were nullified. And as Lord Nityananda Prabhu had ordered that Brahman to deliver other dacoits, say Dvija Dware Jota Chor Dashugon, through that Brahman, how many dacoits and thieves and criminals, Chor Dashugon, Dharma Pate Aishe Loi Chaitanya Sharan. They came by the influence of the preaching of that Brahman. They came to spiritual life and Chaitanya Sharan, and attained shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, discarding their ways of looting and murder. and chanting lakhs and lakhs of names. They became intoxicated. Krishna Prem Mata, Krishna Gan Nirantar. They're mad, constantly intoxicated in love of God. Krishna Gan Nirantar, constantly chanting the holy name of Krishna. Nityananda Prabhu Heno Karuna Sagar. Jai Nityananda Prabhu ki. Jai! Nityananda Prabhu Heno Karuna Sagar. That all of those dacoit, that dacoit leader, he became a preacher. He delivered so many thieves and criminals. They all became intoxicated with love of God and constantly absorbed in chanting the holy name. Nityananda Prabhu ki. Jai! Jogeshar Shabe Banche Jain Prem Bikar. The Munis and the Rishis and the great sages. Banche Jain Jai Prem Bikar. They desire to experience that love of Godhead. Jai Asru, Jai Kampa, Jai Pulaka Hunkar. That standing of the hairs, that shivering, that the quivering, the shedding of tears that the great munis and rishis and sages desire. Chor dakaite hoilo hena bhakti henu Prabhu Nityananda Sharuper Shakti. That was all achieved very easily by the thieves and criminals and the rogues. This is the great potency of Lord Nityananda. Bhaja bhaja bai heno Prabhu Nityananda Jaha prashade pai Prabhu Go Chandra. Worship, brothers, worship. Bhaja bhaja bai henu Prabhu Nityananda Jaha prashade pai Prabhu Go Chandra. By his mercy you'll get shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Simply by his association, Lord Nityananda Prabhu is able to empower so many preachers. Lord Nityananda and Nitaya Charana Sata Tahara Shebaka Nita. Nityananda Prabhu traveling with his associates, and just by his association, actually, we see that they're not making that much effort. Meetings and planning and everything, organized. I mean, not that we don't have to do these things. We have to do these things because we're organizing. And Prabhupada also would sit in the meetings. GBC, Prabhupada was a GBC member. Prabhupada would raise his hand and vote on issues in the GBC. Prabhupada himself. Although Prabhupada would have the final, he could dismiss something, but he would also vote on things. But Lord Nityananda Prabhu he's just being his presence, just coming here. So we have a temple of Lord Nityananda here. Just by coming here, people get this mercy. He's ready, even to the Jagai Madhai and the dacoits who are coming to steal and plunder. He's giving the full mercy. What to speak of those who come with some element of sincerity to do some service? They come, they see Lord Nityananda, they bow down to his lotus feet. How much mercy Lord Nityananda gives them, and how much mercy Lord Nityananda is giving to those who are facilitating others getting his mercy. How much mercy here. How Lord Nityananda is bestowing affection and kindness upon you for bringing others to his lotus feet. So our preaching, success in preaching, just like we said, there's extreme excess. There should be articles about this in the Dandavats. The great criminals have become pure devotees and they're great Bhagavatas and they're preaching and they're delivering something. There should be many, many articles with photos and videos. And this is very successful preaching, Lord Nityananda. But it's done effortlessly. It's just his presence. So what does that mean? That means the key to preaching is Nitai Charan Shmaran. Become the preacher means become the instrument of Lord Nityananda. We're not actually the doer. We're not actually the doer. But just to connect the people to Lord Nityananda, to the holy name, to the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to Srila Prabhupada. We just connect the people somehow or other. We have to We have to dredge our brains to come up with the ways to connect people to Lord Nityananda. Connect people to Srila Prabhupada's movement. And then they will get the mercy. Because Lord Nityananda is overwhelmingly desiring to bestow that mercy upon anybody. All we have to do is to bring them into contact with Lord Nityananda, the holy name, the prasadam, the deity, the program. Just bring them into contact with the association of Lord Nityananda. That everything will happen. Everything will happen. And so the preacher, the inspiration and the potency for preaching comes through the meditation on Lord Nityananda, the connection to Lord Nityananda. Jai Shambon Dunahija Purita Janamagelo Tar. Without a relationship with Lord Nityananda, your life is useless. And how to develop, establish and deepen a relationship with Lord Nityananda, you take up his business. You take up his work. He's a traveling Sankirtan man. You take up the mission of Lord Nityananda. Either you go and travel in Bengal and you preach, or if you don't do that, you support the preachers, or this temple here, as we mentioned, there's such a embassy of the Nitai Kripa. So you serve in this temple. Jai Shambandana. And in this way, you can establish a relationship with Lord Nityananda, and you can deepen that relationship with Lord Nityananda. And in this way, you're delivered. And this way, we're protected. And in this way, we can perfect our lives. Jai Shunaye Nityananda Prabhur Akhyan Tahare Milibe Gau Chandra Bhagavan. Those who hear this description, Jai Shunaye Nityananda Prabhu Akhyan, these descriptions of Lord Nityananda and his preaching, Tahare Milibo Gauchandra Bhagavan, they will meet just by hearing these descriptions. They will attain the lotus. Those who hear these descriptions of Lord Nityananda's preachings will attain the lotus feet of Gauchandra. Doshyugon Mochan Jai Chitta Diya Shune, those who hear this description of the topics of Dashugon Mochan, the deliverance of the rogues, dacoits and criminals of Lord Nityananda, those who hear this, Nityananda Chaitanya Dekibe Shaijone, they will see Nityananda and Chaitanya. So on this day we pray, fall at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. We pray for his mercy. We pray for overcoming our offenses, to deliver us, overlooking the offenses that we are doing in the association of the Vaishnavas. Please forgive us, and please give us opportunity to become your servant and to assist in the preaching of Krishna consciousness. And this evening we're having Abhishek here. This evening, Abhishek and Kirtan. So please come and attain more of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, the Karuna Sagar, the ocean of mercy, Nityananda Prabhu. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Nityananda Trayodashi Mahamahotshav ki Jai. Shamaveta Go Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Sri Sri Nitai Go Udasitanath Pramananda Hari 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 Krishna. Thank you very much.
His Grace Atul Krishna Prabhu ki
Jai.
Thank you very much. So, Atul Krishna has to go for some other program. So, now we request His Grace Prince of Cook to continue the Katha. We'll have the Katha continue. There is no this Prasad. Passing.